This is Sanctum Stitching, where modern meets vintage. I'm Fawn.
I'm Marianne.
And today we are joined
Maria.
we're joined with Maria, and I am so excited to have a special guest that's not my husband. Let's be honest. This is episode 9. I don't think I mentioned that yet. It's also Tuesday the 23rd. You know, we normally film on Sundays, but I was on vacation, so sorry about that. I did record a little bit of Lake Erie, and so I'll post that at the end of this video for just a little seascape that was really calming. Yeah, so anyway, Maria, welcome. We are so excited to have
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Well, if you watched our last video, we kind of strong-armed you a little bit. We're like, you're going to come on. But thankfully, you were ready.
Very good.
I did want to ask you, when did you first start stitching and how did you sort of get started?
I started stitching way back in grade school. I went to a little parish grade school, and every Friday afternoon they used to have hobby, they called it. So you did something different every year as you progressed, you know, from first grade on to 8th grade. And we did surface embroidery. We learned how to do surface embroidery. So I did all the usual bibs and all those kinds of things that kind of came along with it. Used to do stamp stuff, of course, stamp cross stitch, and it always drove me crazy because I could never get those blue lines really covered the way I wanted to. So when counted cross stitch came out, I think that's when I really got into it even more, because I just loved all the preciseness of the little X's because they went into the little holes and you didn't have to worry about covering up any blue spots or anything. Then I kind of ventured into crewel a little bit, but after I joined EGA and our guild and went to the first show where everyone had their beautiful things that they had completed, you know, hanging up there. And I went with my stitching buddy, Beth, and we went around and kept going, I want to do that. 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 So
yeah, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Yes, well, you leaped in that way too. It's every time you see something, you know, so I always want to try a new technique or something different. So it started early. My mom was a great surface stitcher. So I have a piece of her stuff. And when she was probably about 70, I said, you really ought to try counted cross stitch. And she said, no, I'll never learn how to do that. And so I showed her, and she started knocking out pieces that were huge, you know, full coverage and everything else. So she's done some beautiful stuff too. So yeah, it was very early.
Very cool.
So
did you want to share your mom's piece now?
Pardon?
Do you want to share the
sorry,
piece from your mom now?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm going to share one of her surface embroidery ones, but I have to pull hers off the wall right now.
No problem.
Have to do a little walk away.
Mary, do you
right.
want to introduce your special guest?
This is Roscoe. This is Roscoe.
Coming back.
You sit up a minute. He's sleepy. He decided he wanted to visit Mama's lap. Brian is on the floor. Oh, Maria, that's so pretty.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
That looks
she
like a
always
painting.
well,
It does,
yeah.
doesn't it?
She always liked doing cross stitches of things like cottages and stuff because it reminded her of England. My mom was from England, and so I was the mat suggester all the time. So I would get them framed then. But it's all full coverage. So it's like, good God, I don't do those. I don't like doing
Well,
them.
that's kind of like those heaven and earth designs then. Your mama was and we have another guest.
So
We have all
Riley,
the
when she passed away, Mom
Riley's
passed away a
tail.
few years ago, and I passed on a lot of her pieces to her nieces and nephews. So everybody's got a piece of Margaret hanging in the house.
That's
So
right.
that's fine.
Yeah, that looks almost like a Thomas Kincaid painting, like that very style.
Yeah. She loved those. Like I said, she had a whole lot of, but the thing that she hated, and I see a lot of people saying the same thing, is she hated back stitching. And
Yeah.
you couldn't, it's like that was the worst thing for her. And I'd always say, but look what it does to it.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of her finished pieces, but there's no back stitching on them and I don't have the patterns. So
Oh,
I don't know
no.
what to do.
You have to make it up, your best guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's Riley.
Yes.
Say
here
hello.
comes-
Now say goodbye.
We've got the dogs visiting tonight.
Yeah, Wally's sitting in the chair next to me. Hopefully he stays down on the chair and doesn't come up and destroy everything on the table.
Well, Fritzy's moved to the porch, thank goodness, because he was on the table here.
Always. Oh, before we jump into WIPS and finishes, and I have a project for the corner, which I'll talk about. I
Mhm.
did want to give a shout out to Stitch and Stuff. I'm not sure if you guys have seen them. They're a mother-daughter Flosstube group. It's run by Sarah and Kim, and they're pretty new. I think they started right around the same time we did, but I like watching their channel, and if anybody else is interested and they like the dynamic that Marianne and I have, it's very similar. So that's Stitch and Stuff.
Okay.
But I wanted to
Okay.
say it before I forgot.
Very good.
So you want to move on to work in progress? Does anybody have any WIPs?
I do.
Oh,
I do.
14,000 of them.
Any
And
WIPs you
Maria
want to
may.
share?
I have a new start and it's a work in progress, but I still have this cotton pick and moving thing. I actually got another row and a half done down here on this. So
Nice.
that's my progress. And I'll
that's
save my,
The Mill Hill Curly Girl,
Yeah.
right?
yes, the crafty, what is it? Something girl. Yeah. The Mill Hill puts out. Yeah. And
One day you'll have a full floor.
I know. Yeah. I've still got 13 rows to go.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
It's like heaven and earth.
Yes.
Those
A
are
lot smaller,
That's the
thank
boring
God.
part.
Thank the Lord for small favors, y'all. And I've got a new start, so I'll show that when we're doing new starts. Right, Roscoe? Is that
What
right?
work in progress do you have, Maria?
Well, I've got things that have been in progress for an extended period of time. Never clean corners of rooms, because then you start finding things that you started an awfully long time ago. So I
Mhm.
pulled this out last week and I started working on it. And this is called Romanian lace.
Oh, pretty.
And
Wow.
it's a braid that you can buy, and the braid is then stitched down to a pattern, and the stitching comes with all the fill-in that you do.
Hold it up just a little up, come up with it some. Hold it. Yeah, there you go. That's good.
And then what's going to happen is all of the stitching that held the braid down is going to be taken out, and this will come free from the backing, and then you'll mount it on a piece of really nice stuff like a piece of velvet or a piece of satin or something.
Yeah.
And there's a little tassel that comes off the end, so it'll look like a fan,
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
like an old antique. So I'm bound
get
and
down?
determined to get that done. So that's going. And
Where
then
Is it
this
kind of
is
similar to Battenberg lace?
pretty close, because what you're doing with the Battenberg too is that just has I gotta have to take him someplace else. It's got,
Take a break.
You can see
it's got a flat
everybody.
tape that you use, and this actually, the gal who showed us how to do this showed us how to crochet the braid. Y'all talk amongst yourself. I'm going to take Riley someplace.
He can see out the front window in that room, and so
Oh my goodness. But
probably
yeah, that
anybody.
definitely reminds me of the Battenberg lace that we were taught in our EGA guild. And
Right.
I think that was maybe my very first class that I went to, or my very first EGA meeting.
Could be.
And
Could
I
be.
remember it was run by Denise, who runs Timeless Stitches
Yeah.
up in Tecumseh, and she gave us all of these little kits, and they had I'm not sure. I think it's a special type of lacing that she had, right? Because you could pull one side of it.
Yeah.
And she had a pattern, and we pinned it on the pattern, and we sewed around and did all these fancy stitches on my very first meeting. And if it wasn't my
one, is that the one where she puts it on the pillow for you? Did she have it where you were?
It wasn't on a pillow. It was on a piece of paper in the shape
Oh,
of
okay. Okay. Yeah.
And then I finished it like that night or the very night after, and I was like, oh my God, look at me. I'm this fancy needle worker. Like, I've made this lace heart. It's freestanding. And now it goes on a Christmas tree. So around the holidays, when we take all our ornaments out, I'll have to find it.
Oh, yeah. Look for it. Don't have lost it.
Exactly. But that's her project reminded me so much of that, since you stitch on the fabric and then you take it off. And the idea to make it into a fan seems really cool.
Well, it was probably what you learned. I didn't take that class, so there you go. I watched.
Yeah.
Like Maria, Maria's even more adventuresome than I am. I've just got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated by the work that Maria's working on.
Yeah. She keeps it interesting, just like you do.
The lady that taught this, Sylvia Murillo, actually is from Romania, and she taught us how to crochet the braid. Now, you can buy it by the yard, and I would suggest that you do that unless you're a darn fast crocheter, because I still have a piece that's maybe that long. But I know how to do it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I have a crochet blanket I've been working on since college, and I don't think that thing will ever get done.
I can name that too.
No growling.
And then I bought this as a wedding sampler.
Okay. And you want up here?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Nice.
We switched dogs.
It's going to end up being a first anniversary present, because that's coming up pretty soon. And it's got beads and everything through it. And it's actually designed by two sisters who live in Toledo, Ohio. And
how neat.
That's the name of the pattern, Sisters and Their Best Friends. And I liked it. And then I happened to be at seminar one time, and I found this fabric. Which is, if you can see, it's got stars, and I just thought, well, that's pretty non-traditional. So
hold it right there. Yeah.
That's it.
That's so much bigger than the pattern makes it look.
Yeah.
So I just have to do the and on top, and then the swirl of beads that goes through it all.
Wow. How are you going to finish that, in a frame?
Yes, I'm going to frame it, and I haven't decided on matte yet. So I'll play around with the colors I have and go from there.
That's pretty.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. The thread that you're using, I know you like it, Fawn, because it's called Pansy Purple.
Oh yeah, all about it.
Pansy Purple. There you go. Yep. So those are the things that are actually started.
Nice. Cool. I had one work in progress, and then my other 3 items are a new start and a finish. So I am still working away on Grimm's Fairytale by Cloudsfactory. I've been really good the last, what is it, 5 months of getting it done every month before the end of the month. But this month, I'm not quite sure it's going to happen. So I still have to get the Pied Piper and the girl, or the children and the mice and all that over here. But I finished the once, and I started the upon, the little motif here, and then I'm starting the A. So I have quite a bit left to go for June. But here's kind of how it's all starting to look.
I like it. It looks good. Looks good.
And the more I look at it, I was going to frame it, but I think it would make a really cool pillow with the square shape. And I don't have any stitched pillows, so I feel like I should really have one.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking I ought to
Very
do that
good.
for Lily and keep the Beatrix Potter for me. You know?
Yeah.
There you go. There you
Well,
go.
this could be good for her too, because then you could find the books that go with it. Not necessarily the Grimm's fairy tale version, but the more appropriate version. And then she can sort of go through each one, read the book, and see the design. So that could be really cool.
Uh-huh.
That's true. Yes. We have a different guest. This is Ross. This is Brian, Roscoe's
Okay.
brother. Yeah. So he came up to visit instead.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody have a new start?
I do. I do. I do. I started
Ooh.
the, you know, the
Yeah.
little cruel piece I showed y'all.
Put over
last
to the
week.
side a little. There you
How's
go.
that?
Yep. Wow.
So there you go. And
Dawn,
that
if-
I started
if
it,
you
I think
wanna-
it was around Wednesday or Thursday, maybe Thursday.
You got
So-
so far.
Yeah.
Well, luckily it's small. And I'm trying to do, this is your stem stitch is right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is actually stem, like a satin stitch, short, long and short stitch. I like long and short, and I don't like long and short. I have a, I don't know.
I haven't figured it out yet. I can't do it.
Well, Karen always tells me it's called longer and long and longer, or longer and long instead of long and short. Make it longer and long. So what I really wind up doing a lot of times is stitching, and then just almost like a, it's just almost similar to a padded stitch, you know, a satin stitch, but it's going this way and that. So I do have fun. I thought about you. I do have my little, I put in little French knots
They look
in the
good.
middle of that flower. And then when I move up this way, I think we're moving into a yellow. I might just for the heck of it do something a little more yellow there. And then the leaves, I'm trying to decide if I want to do maybe a, what is that called? The fish, you know, the fish stitch, the
Oh, fly stitch.
fly stitch, yeah. You have a
Good thing Maria's here, because I'm like, I don't know. Satin
fly
stitch?
stitch, yeah, a herringbone or a herringbone, yeah.
Yeah.
Flower, I knew it had something to do with fish. Okay. What can I
Yeah.
say? So that's that. So I'm got the, you know, still working on the cardinals, but this is a new start, and I'm going to try and finish it in the next couple of weeks. My hands still giving me a problem, and my sister said, call your doctor. So I need to see if the doctor can talk to me online or something, because I think it's going to take a different doctor.
Yeah, they should be able to do a virtual appointment, no problem.
Yeah,
It seems
yeah.
the way to
So I'm going to
Right.
call and
get
ask.
that piece super soon.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it shouldn't take too much longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. It's been fun. And the fabric, I think it's a linen, but it's really tough. I think this is something that Moira had in her shop. And it's very heavy, you know, and so it's tight getting that needle through there if you're going in small areas, kind of.
I think
But it's
we
pretty.
were able to get those at somebody's stash sale too, because I know I've got 2 or 3
Yeah,
of those with that pattern. So Fawn, if you want to try that, I have
right.
a piece with the
'Cause
pattern
I've
on.
got one too that's got a squirrel. The other one I've got that's the same fabric has a squirrel in it and a little tree or something. Well, cool. Now Brian's moved over to the other side of the sofa. Good.
Get your face back.
Yeah. So that's what's working on over here.
Nice. Maria, did you have any new starts?
Well, I don't have them started yet because I just went through the collection phase, you know, me in collection phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
I found this
Far.
pattern.
Oh, cute.
Wow, that is
Oh,
Riley in a
me.
nutshell.
That's on the Doreen Jones website. and it was in a World of Cross Stitching magazine. So I was able to buy the back issue of it because it looks like Riley. And
Yeah,
I'm going to put
absolutely.
on this blue and white check.
Oh,
Oh,
that's different.
that'll be cute.
Can be different. And I got the thread,
Yeah.
and I like the way this is finished.
Mm-hmm.
The piece that you stitch, this person just pulled out some threads all the way around,
Yeah.
and the background is calico. So she just got a little piece of cross stitch, and then there's little buttons in the corner, you know, in that little white frame. And I thought, well, that'd be a different thing to go ahead and do. I started with a new section on Pinterest, and I've been looking at finishing because you can't hang everything on the wall. So I did that. And then my friend Beth, who's my bestest buddy stitching partner, sent me my birthday present early. We know each other and what we like. So this is called Tudor Maiden.
Oh, cool.
Oh, look at that Tudor rose dress.
Yeah.
Isn't that neat? I love
That
reading
is.
that period in history. And so, God love her, she
Oh, look
the
at
thing
that.
back
She got you a plaque already, huh?
yeah. And then she also, there's a rose that you put on the top.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
So she got me all the pieces parts that go to it. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Wait to see that.
yeah. I'm already chomping at the bit, and I have so many things that are halfway done that I shouldn't be doing anything. But yes,
Yeah.
But yes.
it's gonna be really pretty when it's done. Yeah.
I'll just send Joe over, Maria, so he can ask you every now and then. Now, are you going to finish that before you start this other one? Or how much longer is it going to be before you finish that?
Oh my God. I wish Sean was like that.
I'll loan him out. Well, Joe always worries because I've told you the story. It took me about 8 years to finish his Christmas stocking. And he was scared to death that he would hang it up and he'd die the next day.
While it was
He said, I just know you're going to give it to me. I'm going to die.
Oh my
He
gosh.
didn't die. He's still around.
So those two are on my list for Start Next.
Oh, those will be pretty. Those
Yeah,
will be
they'll be
really
fun.
nice. That's
Wow.
a cute one. That looks just like Riley.
It does.
Yeah.
That'll be a quick stitch too.
Yes, because it's a very small little piece. So yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be
Nice.
fun to try different finishing too.
Well, I've seen a lot more, it's interesting on Facebook and even Flosstube, both of them, and Instagram, all the different finishes that are different from what we're used to, and it's kind of neat to see what people like to try. Yeah. Okay. All right, Miss Moderator, where are we to next?
I have too many new starts. So I'll start with my one that I was really frustrated by. So I started working on the Memories of Chaos Witchalong by Fourth Circle Studio. So that's the Sabrina piece. And I got my fabric. I finally decided which one I wanted.
Okay.
And it was 28 Jazzlin Deep Teal. And so it's this color. It's really pretty. But so when I got this pattern, I decided I was going to stitch from stash. And so I wasn't really going to buy anything new. And that's how I picked this fabric out because I had all the choices. But this is only 19 by 18. And since it's 28 count, that would mean that I would have to stitch 1/1. So I was like, okay, I can do this. This is fine. And I was trucking along and I was doing okay. And then I decided I was going to finish the first full page instead of just doing the whole border, because I don't have a picture to show, but it's a big border. And then in the border are a bunch of little frames. And then over the next couple months, we'll get the fill-ins for the frames. And so I started this border. So this is all counted right, and this looks good. And then here's where I came down, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this frame. And I must have ripped this thing out 10 times. And I finally started. It was all supposed to be cross stitch, and you could see where I think I got the right count now with the white, but my frame is not to that white.
Oh dear.
I had ripped out all of the cross stitch that I had done. And then I was like, fine, I'm going to satin stitch and then I'm going to make it into a border. So I have some satin stitches that I just kind of tucked with a mini satin stitch and I put a French knot in the middle. And I think that looks really good. But then I went to count it again and it was wrong. So I cross stitched it wrong. I satin stitched it wrong. I put this white border and I don't trust that it's right. So this is now in the corner and it's not coming back out. So I talked to Sean and I ordered more fabric. And of course, when you're online ordering fabric, it's really hard to choose. And I didn't want it to be too dark, but I didn't want it to be too light because it's supposed to be Sabrina, so it's spooky. And I ended up ordering 2 pieces of fabric, which are going to be way too big, so they were very expensive. But when they come, I'll be able to figure it out. And I like spooky stuff, so as long as they look spooky once they get here, I'll be able to use it in the future. But this pretty fabric is not going to get stitched on with Sabrina, is the moral of that story.
Well, these things happen sometimes.
Yeah. I've not gridded before, gridded before, but you might want to think about doing that before you start this again.
Yeah.
Just partially, if nothing else. I know Ann always tells me, make sure you at least, she said, folding that fabric and getting that crease is not sufficient enough to find the middle, and so she insists that I follow what Anne Meraria suggests. I do the up the middle with the few, basting and across the middle again this way. But I've been surprised the number of people on, especially like the Blackbird designs and stuff. And since you are doing it over one or something like that, a lot of the women grid. And they're doing that linens and threads, SAL. A lot of them have a grid because that seems to be something that can throw people off because it's a Quaker sampler thing. And so there they've got that grid. That would take more time, and you and I are probably too impatient sometimes to want to waste to spend that time, but it might be worth it.
Yeah,
I think to get you started, to get you started.
Yeah, and the way I'm mostly going to get around it is I'm not going to stitch 1 over 1 anymore.
Okay.
Unless I can totally help it. So now this big piece, I'll be able to do 2 over 2.
Yeah.
So it makes such a difference going 1 strand over. You could see it so much better. For some reason, the count goes better. I don't know. I know I'm young, but I can't do 1 over 1.
Were you using a magnifier?
Yeah. Yep. I had the magnifier. I had it so close. I don't know. It's not meant to be on this fabric. But I did learn that I like the satin stitch. And if I can get it tight, and I think it's all wonky because I was pulling on it and trying to count so much. But if I was able to do it, that would save a lot of stitching to somehow do the board. So I might end up, maybe I learned something that the satin stitch frames will look really cool. But
yeah, it does.
For now, until my fabric gets here, we're not looking at Sabrina.
Well, you handled it well. You said, "Phooey, I messed this up. I'll just start over."
Oh my God, you should have been here in the house that day. I was so mad. Sean was at work and just me yelling to the cat about how I can't get this dang count right.
Sometimes you count over and over and over. And I remember doing a frame on a big counted piece. And I swore I counted it 3 different times, more than that, counting pins in place, okay, every 10 I'd stick a pin in the whole bag, and I came up 1 short. I thought, nope, we're going to fudge the inside of this design somehow because I'm not pulling it out.
Well, it's like my Frank Lloyd Wright design where I was doing the outer border and I was 1 over, and I would have been, and the yell that the Needle Arts Guild heard that night was, you could hear it all the way across the botanical garden, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like Nancy Wright says she'll never forget. She was sitting right beside me. Just like, okay.
Probably scared her.
Well, to be honest with you, this thing I'm making for my friend Lane, it's supposed to be 20 rows is what I'm supposed to have done, but over here it's only 19. So, but it's still on the same line and everything, but I think I must have messed up somewhere in here. And I'm just like, well, you know, it'll get done. It's not going to be like the pattern is exactly, but then again, she's still going to be living in the house. That's all.
The person you're giving it to doesn't have the pattern, so.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So then, because I was so frustrated, I needed a win. So I started the Just Non Autumn Mouse scissor roll.
Okay. Cute.
And the Just Non patterns, they're always a pretty quick stitch, and they're not overly complicated. There's some back stitching. Their finishing takes a little bit, but they're fun enough and small motifs that you feel like you get something accomplished. So this is what I have on my scissor roll.
Oh, cute. Yeah.
So on that part, there'll be mice in the middle, and it's really cute. It says, "Where pumpkins hide, scissors slide." And so I had a giggle over that and probably read it to Sean like 3 times. So he's not so enthused with this project anymore, but I think that'll be really nice once it all gets in there. And then I have a new start work in progress finish that came out of Stupid Sabrina because I worked on the mouse.
Okay.
And so
Well,
here
put that up there again for a minute, because you took it down kind of quickly there. Okay, thank you.
And so here's my mouse.
Very cute.
We get it focused.
Cute. Yeah, I showed that picture to Joe the other day. I said, look at this mouse she made.
Yeah. So they have lots of these. Did I show my Halloween mouse on here before?
I think so, but you can always show it again.
Yeah, let me go grab it quick.
Okay.
But it's fun to finish because really you stuff it, you put some backstitch on to sew it up, or not backstitch, but what is that stitch called? Not a basket weave. Oh shoot.
Well, you're just stitching it
Like a basting.
Yeah, a slip stitch.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll call it that.
Sounds good.
But it's really fun because it comes with all the charms that you need to finish it.
Yeah.
So it came with this little hat for it, the beads, the whiskers. I just ran some sewing thread through and put some glue so they would stick up weird. The little leaf here. And so once that gets done, and this is finished, it should look really cute.
Yeah.
But let me go grab my Halloween mouse so you can see the size difference, because I thought this was small, but this is really a chunky boy.
Make sure Wally understands they're not his toys.
Yes, I am trying to keep them by the TV and not let them go anywhere near the
floor. Okay. Yes. You got to watch them cats, you know.
Yes.
Fritzy thinks everything is a toy.
Of course it is.
The dogs even think some of his mice that I've gotten for him that have catnip in them are toys for them. So, oh, there it is.
So here is my Halloween one.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Very cute.
So it is so much chunkier.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. It's an autumn mouse, isn't it?
Yeah, yep, it's preparing.
Well, it's storing up nuts for the winter.
Exactly.
It's all ready.
Yeah, so you could tell I was more confident since this was my second one, because I was like, oh, I could stuff things up in there and it'll be fine. Yeah. And this one I was like so delicate and like basically afraid to stitch it and stuff it up. But here we are. So just wait for the third one. Who knows what that one will look like.
It'll be fine.
You're going to have to do the bride and groom.
Yeah, there's the bride and groom, and Denise has that, and I think she has the hedgehog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I know they have hedgehogs and owls. I mice, though.
Yeah. Mice are cute.
So Maria, you showed some of your haul. Did you have any other haul?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Where did I put the haul? Here's the haul.
Did you get any, Marianne?
Pardon?
I asked Marianne if she had any haul this week.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I should never, ever go on websites.
Dangerous.
One that is, F is for friends.
Nice.
So that would
Pretty.
go on the top of anything. Looks a little Pennsylvania Dutch and
Yeah.
whatever. So I thought that was really pretty. And I was on Stony Creek ordering those. And Stony Creek has a little thing that, and I don't do it every month, but you can get, if you order, you can get free parts to this. But they also stand alone. So this is just a little
Oh, okay.
lantern shining bright. I mean, it doesn't have to be part of the project, but of course I put that on because it was free.
Right.
And then I saw this and I can't resist anything that has to do with tea. So this one says tea time in my country garden.
Oh, pretty.
Wow, that is right up your alley.
Yep.
That
So
is
we got
perfect.
the teapot and the cakes and everything else.
Yep.
And
Perfect.
there was somebody else had, and I love smalls. Smalls are my downfall. So this was a pattern, just real simple for needle book and a scissor fob and a biscornu. So that was real cute. And then I picked up this on sale somewhere, or I ordered it on one of the online get rid of your patterns.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the dog's alphabet.
Oh, cute.
So it's got a few things in there. And those Lizzie Kate designs
Right.
go fast too.
Right.
And then
I was going to say, I think I've seen that one before. Yeah.
this was another Halloweeny one.
Oh,
Oh, that-
cool.
I
Look
like
at all those hats.
Look at nice and bright. So it's trick or treat, hocus pocus, spooky spiders, skeletons, witch hats, all that's on there.
Cool.
And I love drawn thread patterns too. I just think they're very pretty and very delicate. So anything with American flags on it. I am a 4th of July baby, so I kind of go for all those things. So this is called Welcome Summer, but it may just
Okay.
stand up a lot. And then I'm also a Christmas addict.
Yeah.
So this is Welcome Christmas.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So I thought that was really pretty. So
Do they have a spring and fall one?
they do. You can do spring and fall and summer and winter. So there's just a plain winter one, and this one just happened to be Christmas, which I like
Pretty.
because it had
That's
the
going to keep you
cotton
busy.
and the trees. Yeah, well,
Yeah. What,
well,
what
yeah,
else are we going to do, huh?
yeah. So what else can we spend money
Well,
on?
that's right.
Wow, I love that.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah. So that's what's going into the stash for right now, the hoard.
Yes. Well, for haul, I got some of my threads came in for, these are the classic color works and the Simply Shaker by Sampler Threads by the Gentle Arts group. So those are for the, well, the things I showed you last time or whenever, the summer, autumn, and fall and winter blackbird designs. And then Joe got me something. Here we go. Ta-da! It says, when I cross stitch, I just can't stop.
It's so true though.
So
That's good.
I might wear it tomorrow for stitch in.
There you go.
And it's not vintage, I am, but I thought that would be fun. One of these days I'll get a little more, this is a casual outfit today for this, but I might be daring and wear that. I wouldn't want to scare all the people that watch us on Flosstube. And then Denise also, I was able to kit up two of the ones I'm doing for the farmer, you know, the Little House Needleworks. These go along with that Jack Frost tree I did, the Jack Frost tree farm. So I was able to kit Carrie's up now. Hers is going to be all kitted. That's our niece. And then these two. And then I also had Denise, and thank you, Maria, for bringing these back down to me so I didn't have to pay postage. But I told her, Carrie wanted to work it on Ada. So I said, well, pick out 3. See, it's just subtle, real subtle as far as the shading of the Ada goes. And then I told her, well, give me some too. So I got some smaller
Twist
ones.
my arm.
Twist my arm, you know, in just a kind of creamy shade of Ada. So I can get that sent off to Carrie and have the other for me. And that I do have some other stuff that came in, but that came in yesterday. So I thought, well, I'll save that for the next time we need to do haul. Because, I mean, we'll be turning right around almost and doing this on Sunday again. So
Oh, I know.
I'll save it for that. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's it.
Yeah, and in a shocking turn of events, I didn't buy anything. So
Were there no stores?
I didn't buy anything, which is its own miracle. Well, I guess I bought my fabric.
You did buy your fabric.
I bought the fabric, but that's not here yet. So it does it really count if it hasn't arrived yet?
Well, kind of.
No, doesn't count.
We'll put that on next week's purchase.
Right. You need it in hand.
Yep. And then Maria, you were going to show us some of your favorite finishes, right?
Yeah. Can I talk about stitch gauge first?
Absolutely.
I wanted to do that because what prompted me to think that this might be a good thing to share with people is there are quite a few other groups I follow, and I know you do too, Fawn. And someone said, oh, I saw that pattern and I really liked it, but it said to stitch it on linen, and I didn't want to stitch anything that small. And I thought, isn't that terrible that you pass up something that you really like because you didn't want to stitch on something small? So I absolutely love these Prairie Schooler Santa Clauses. I have a pattern for every one from, I think, 1982, and this year's is out, but I haven't gotten it yet because Denise didn't have it. And before I die, this is my on my bucket list. I will finish all of these in some form or another. And you can do it in a different way. When I first started doing them, I did them on the 18 count that it called for, but I didn't do it on the fabric that it called for because I didn't like the fabric.
Right.
So this is 18 count. And so I did those 4 on 18 count. So I really liked them, and isn't that great? And then I started thinking, oh, no, wait a minute. You know, I love those patterns. What else can I do with them? So going from 18 count, I then found 8 count Herta. Whoops, Santa's upside down. So this is done on 8 count, but it's done with tapestry wool. I took my DMC colors to the needlepoint shop. There used to be one here in Sylvania, and was able to match up the colors. So all of a sudden, this now is this.
That's amazing.
Don't worry about fabric size or what kind of fabric they suggest. You know, part of needlework is kind of letting your mind go crazy and do something with it. So this was set of 2 for the couch.
Cool.
And I happen to have all of this stuff in one of my stash drawers because I buy stuff knowing that someday I will pull it out of there and it's going to be the perfect thing. And this just happened to be Herta cloth that had gold shot through it too.
Oh,
so
wow.
it lends itself to that really well. And then I found this other fabric that I liked, slightly bigger. But this fabric had little blobs of red and green and blue on it, kind of the same colors that you see here. And once again, because you can't put everything on the wall, thank you to Diane,
Right.
who showed us how to finish them as a stand-up. And I think at Christmas time, stand-ups are really a good idea because you can plunk that baby down somewhere. And then you don't have to worry about, although I do change out all my pictures and put Christmas ones up
Yes,
anyway.
she does.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's it. So I just wanted to say, you know, to folks as they're looking at patterns, and that's why buying a paper pattern is nicer than buying a kit, because you can change things out. You can put it on whatever fabric you want. And even if it comes as a kit and you don't like the fabric, throw the fabric away or use it for something else and you know, get whatever is going to work. You just have to figure out, you know, how big it's going to make it. You know, if you're going from 18 to 8, you know, we're looking at just about, you know, twice. This was twice the size of this. So, you know, that's twice the size of this. So that's what I just wanted, because I really felt bad that the lady said, well, I didn't get it because I didn't want to work on that fabric. Well, darn, plunge, use whatever fabric you want and go wild with it. So my painting instructor tells us that we should be bloody bold and resolute. Now, I don't know who said that to begin with, but just launch in. So, yeah. So
maybe that should be the title of our video today.
I think so. That would be good.
Art would probably like that. So I did collect a few things that are hanging around the house, and most of them have to do with getting wild with different things. This is kind of this was good old cross stitch.
Oh my gracious.
Wow.
I had forgotten.
It hangs behind the sofa.
Yeah.
And I always laughed about this because it's a map, and this thing has more miles on it than I do, probably, because it always got thrown in my suitcase and went with me when I was traveling around doing school accreditations. And so I said, this thing got mileage on it, so it's a good thing it was a map. But
yes,
again, it was just plain cross stitch, but I loved the colors that they used. They were just really, really nice colors. And I tend to go, as you look at things, I tend to go into blue, red, and green, and various shades of those. So those show up on a lot of stuff that I do. We always want to do something new. So this is felt applique.
oh, that turned out nicely, Maria.
Yeah. And she showed us a different way to do this so that all the little pieces of felt look like they're stuffed, and they're not. So they look 3D, but they're not. So that was fun. Debbie Tirico is a teacher for this, and so we did this at seminar, and she's really, really good.
Have you ever put that in the show?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
And then this one was really a crazy.
Oh, pretty.
I don't know how it shows up for you, but it's purple. It's showing up blue in my thing.
Yep.
But this was a piece, again, that I learned at seminar, and it's Lynn Payette was the teacher. And this is all organdy, different layers of organdy. And then we made all of our own braid in the colors that we wanted. So we brought our thread in and just twisted braid and made braid, and then couched down the braid.
Wow.
Sometimes we put sparkle in it, and then this is what's called turkey work.
Yeah.
So you get these little fuzzy things just like you see on an iris.
Yeah. Very nice.
And then this is one of my all-times, because again, this was a new technique. This was my first goldwork piece.
Whoa.
So that was fun to do. Enjoy that.
You've done a lot of this framing yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, I framed this one myself.
Yeah.
Triple framed that.
Yeah.
I learned how to triple matted it, I should say.
Yeah.
Gold, a burgundy, and a pink matte on that one. And then I love samplers. So I'm a fool for mats. I love mats.
Me
I think
too.
they do a lot to enhance.
Yeah.
And my rule of thumb is that when I pick out a color, I turn away from it and then look back fast. And if the first thing I see is the mat, I've chosen the wrong color of mat. But if the first thing I see is the piece, then I know I have the right mat. And so I think this just picks up the colors that are in here. And this was fun because it had different stitches in it too. It had some pulled stitches, it had some drawn stitches. So that was a lot of fun to do. So those are my favorites.
Wow, they're beautiful.
In the house.
They are pretty.
I just like always trying something new. And there are lots more new things that are half done in my house. So yeah.
I'm getting that way.
Those are my faves. Those are my favorite things.
Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Did you have a finish, Marianne?
Are you talking to me, phone?
Yes.
Yes.
Have a
No,
finish?
I did not have a finish, but I have a vintage piece.
Okay, let's go for it.
Okay. Very simple. Librarians are novel lovers.
How cute.
I saw this is when I was in library school, graduate school. I saw it on somebody's bumper sticker. So my brother-in-law, graphed it out for me. And it's not, I dusted it off. I had to go look for it because I've always had it in my office, in whatever office I've been in. And it was dirty, dusty, and it had been, so that got me to cleaning up a few more items that I had in my office over at the university and at the federal courts. And I thought, well, I'll just show this as a vintage piece because I was in graduate school over 40 something years ago now, 40 something plus years since I earned my library science degree. So that's my vintage piece.
It's cool though. I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of my judges used to tell jokes. Judge Potter was he was great. He had been a mayor of Toledo, and he was a federal district court judge, and he always would tell jokes, so you had to, and I made the mistake one time of saying, yes, I've heard that, Your Honor, and knowing the punchline. So you back up real quickly and, oh no, I thought I had it right. But he had seen this on somebody's car too. And so I said, well, I have that up in my office. So he had to come up and look. He wanted to come up and see. He was impressed. He said, because the other thing is they're novel lovers or librarians do it in the stacks. That's another.
Oh my goodness.
That's our little bit of woo for the time here. That's what you get for me having me do it on a Tuesday. See,
I know, different.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to discuss tonight. So
Yeah.
there we go.
I still have vintage.
Oh, do you? I'm sorry, I didn't know
Get
that.
This is the tablecloth Mom did for me. I consider that vintage.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Wow.
Oh, Maria, that is so pretty.
Look at that butterfly.
Yeah.
This is all surface embroidery.
Yeah.
And I'd look at the back of her stuff and,
Oh my, how beautiful.
yeah, the backs are real neat too. So
Yeah.
God love her. And then I had one, this is a vintage piece of mine. When I was doing Cruel,
Oh my goodness.
It's a clock.
it was at the old Lee Ward store. When you could order, Lee Ward's was kind of the Stony Creek, Hirschner's, Nordic Needle, everybody online. And they had a store up in Troy, Michigan. So I remember going up there and the frame came with it and everything else on green fabric. And I just loved all these little lazy daisies around it. Just kind of brightened it up. So there's one of my vintages.
Wow. I'm obsessed with that. now I'm thinking, I'm like, ooh, how do I stitch a clock?
Right.
Very easy, no problem. And then I went into the closet and I found these things, and you can tell I was very naive when I was doing these. These are my very first counted cross-stitch pieces,
Oh my goodness.
which I did a bang-up job of framing because I used packing tape to hold them on. So they have all these little yellow marks now. So
Oh,
they're
Beautiful though.
for the seasons. And I thought, oh God, just throw those away, Maria, because you're ever so much better at stuff now. And then I decided, no, you need that. So I'm going to make them into pillows. That's going to be the middle medallion. So there's spring.
okay.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, don't you dare throw those away. I'll come grab them right now.
Right.
Summer.
Hold it over a little bit.
Yeah, bring it over to your, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
So there's the fabric for summer.
yeah.
Then there's fall
Oh, oh, pretty.
and winter.
Wow.
And I had those hanging up at one of my apartments for
Yeah.
a long, long time. And it was their dimensions kits, and they were those little wooden dimension frames. And I
Mhm.
washed it, and you just, that's the discolored glue.
Yeah,
But they're going to be middle pieces for pillows for the sunroom.
that'll be nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's my vintage.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love it.
it was fun. I found them and I went, oh my goodness. And I can
Yeah.
remember where they were hanging up when I lived in the old West
Oh,
End
my.
Oh my gosh.
a long time ago. Yes. So I think that's
Well,
all.
yeah, I don't think I have anything else either. You said you're all out, Marianne?
I'm done. I'm done.
Well, Maria, thank you so much
Well, thanks
Yeah.
for inviting.
for being on today. Oh my God. Now all the pieces that you showed, they were so beautiful. And of course, now I'm thinking about a clock and thinking a little bit about tablecloth.
They are the clocks are very easy to do. Yep, no problem.
We're glad you could come.
You don't have pretty backs on them because you got to make sure you can get to the works.
Right, right.
Yeah, well, I noticed that it was actually even running still. And I
Yes,
thought
yes.
that was so cool.
Yep.
But yeah, so thank you for coming on. Thanks everybody for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell if you want to be notified for future videos, especially when we have cases like this video where it comes at a little bit of a different than usual.
Right.
And we will see you pretty soon next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody.